And I want to debunk this myth that a lot of producers have, thinking that like if they get signed to a certain label, even if it's as big as Drum Code or as big as the biggest label they can think of, right? One signing doesn't automatically mean that the gigs will start pouring in. The same is true that even if you have a few ranked tracks and stuff, it does not mean that gigs will start coming in. Now, what's up, everyone? We are here for another session of the weekly Q&A with our YouTube community, hosted by Artist Map and Faculty of Electronic Music. I am Gia, one of the hosts. We have Kevin here, the community manager at Artist Map, also goes by SVS, and we have Gino, aka Atroxx, Faculty of Electronic Music. Always bring the good stuff and the good questions from your students. Yeah, so this week, we actually have a question from one of your students regarding how to kind of approach the next steps, right? After you get a few signings under your belt. Most artists want to get signings and all that stuff. Like the next step is to then get booked for shows. So it's natural that they have these questions. And the question goes, after you've gotten a few signings under your belt, what steps should I take towards getting support slots at regional clubs, venues? I don't have any local ones that host house and techno events, so I'm forced to explore regional markets in my area. What should my emails look like? And should I be running ad campaigns in those cities as well? Gino, I'll let you take the first crack at it.
For me?
Yeah, and then I'll share my answers.
Okay, so if I understand the question correctly, he's saying that after having tracks come out on some labels, how do you approach getting gigs outside of where you're from? Because where he's from, they're not hosting parties of his style of music, right?
Right.
In my experience, I mean, it doesn't hurt to hunt for gigs outside where you're from. But in my experience, I just focused on getting my music out there, and the gigs came to me. I would think that that's extremely important. I don't think targeting ads is going to help at all. I also don't think so because I feel like Instagram just takes your money to begin with. So I don't think you're ever going to really catch the attention of a promoter or somebody through putting out Instagram or Facebook ads. But what you can do is reach out to people that are throwing events. There's an app called Headhunter, which gives you the email of the people that run the website. Find out who's running the website or of the event party or anything like that. Hit them up, send them your music, or find out who's throwing parties and ask them to get their email to be on your promo list. So when your tracks are coming out, they get a direct email. So they don't have to discover you in a sense of hearing a big name play your track. They get your tracks prior to when it comes out, and then you're automatically on their radar. I think that would help the most.
Yeah.
Or be patient, and the gigs will come to you. Just keep putting out good music.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I cannot disagree with that answer. A lot of it's every artist's journey is different. Kevin, is there anything you want to add before I jump in?
It's just like Atroxx says. I feel that if you see an ad I'm just like your normal standard person for seeing an ad for a DJ, it's kind of like okay, but it's more that grassroots type of thing that causes me to like want to follow a DJ. If I hear their like really good music, it's like, oh shoot, I'm gonna follow them. If I hear, for example, like a big name artist play this person's track and it tags that person, then I'm gonna start following them. Like, oh okay, maybe. And then I think that way will create more interest rather than just trying to pay an ad to go out there and get stuff. Of course, I'm not throwing parties, so it's a completely different perspective. But as far as like getting interest in some artists, that's usually how I go about it, and I think that's generally how it's done to just get more that natural way.
Yeah, cool. No, 100%. I guess I have a pretty blunt answer to this, and I think before I first answer the question, I actually just want to say one thing, and I want to debunk this myth that a lot of producers have, thinking that like if they get signed to a certain label, even if it's as big as Drum Code or as big as the biggest label they can think of, right? One signing doesn't automatically mean that the gigs will start pouring in. The same is true that even if you have a few ranked tracks and stuff, it does not mean that gigs will start coming in. Now, signings on other labels might start coming in, and obviously, the more you do that and the more you chart and the more that you're being streamed on Spotify, eventually there will be an alignment saying, wow, this artist is quite big. But to think that just because you have a few signings under your belt, even a big one, and to think that the next step, gigs are coming in, that is a myth that I want to debunk, because promoters look at other algorithms. There's other factors besides your music release and your ranking, you know, that factors in towards it. And I think, you know, what steps should you take then in terms of getting support slots if that is the truth? You know, I always like to think that if your cities where you're from don't host many house and techno events, I actually think it's an opportunity for you to throw one. And I guarantee you, you have you're gonna have peers or you're gonna know someone that is also an artist that is just waiting for an opportunity like to throw that event. And you know, it's a good way to introduce and to really build that local following because if there isn't one, yes, there's a struggle, but there's also an opportunity. So that is something I would briefly consider to kind of just get the ground started because even if you do email the regional clubs, if they're like, for example, you're in the Midwest, you email Spy Bar, Smart Bar, these clubs in Detroit, you know, that regularly frequent headliners, they already have their programming slotted in. And most of the times, these talent buyers don't book a DJ just because you're regional and you have some signings and that you're emailing them. No matter how well crafted your email is, no matter how polite you are, you know, it goes back to people just have a different approach with how they book their acts. So, but if you really want to go after emailing venues, I would go after these smaller venues, bars that let local promoters or regional artists host their nights over there. You'll have a better shot doing that, but just understand that you're probably going to still have to promote it and bring a crowd out because it's something that you're hosting yourself. Yeah, and should you be running ad campaigns? You should. No, you should not. Especially saying that, hey, you're a DJ looking for a gig. You're wasting your money. No one is going to book you based on the fact that they're seeing an ad that, oh, wow, you're a house and techno DJ from around the region. Therefore, I should totally book you or let you host a night. That's just not the perception of how this thing works. Yeah, that's pretty much my answer. I don't know if, you know, if it's the truth. I don't know if that, you know, if it's the answer that they're looking for, but, you know, I think to stay consistent on your signings and then understand that your music is what's going to get the attention and networking as well. You know, instead of being so eager to play events outside your city, why don't you just go check out the event outside your city to see if you even vibe with the environment, if you can even meet the promoter. And guess what? If you make your way out there and drive out there and let the promoter know that you drove from wherever you drove from, you're gonna actually catch their attention because I know for a fact that when people drive from Phoenix, even from San Diego to our parties in LA, I remember them the most. Like, wow, I have people down the street that told me they can't make it because they're busy or parking's a bitch here. But you're driving from Phoenix every weekend. Come on, like, so yeah, that's just my answer. On this regards.
One more thing that I think will help, that I remember Nathan Barato told me, was look for labels that throw showcase parties.
That's a great one.
Yeah.
And Nathan, hey, look, and to his credit, he's part of the Paradise crew and he's released on Paradise and Paradise throws parties all over the world. And I see Nathan all over the world. And actually, Nathan's an old buddy, man. Shout out to him. Yeah, his story is definitely one that we should highlight too. The guy just worked so hard, used natural talent, and finally broke through during the BPM festival era in the 2013, 2014 phase.
Yeah, he's great. Great,
man. It's a great advice.
Yeah, stuck with me.
Yeah. Awesome.
He also told me, I'll throw this in now since we're talking about Nathan. He also told me years ago, like 10 years ago, 8 hours a day for 10 years. Expect nothing less. That's what he told me.
You know what? And when I finally got to his music, I mean, I still have a chat with him. It was after his BPM gig, and I found him. I'm like, dude, what is this track everyone's playing? And then I found out that he has a whole back catalog. And for a while, all I would play was Nathan Barato music. So
yeah,
right. And like overnight, I became a fan, and I realized he's got years, and it's just like instantly, I'm a fan. You have my respect. Who are you? You know, all of that. So cheers to him. All right. Well, that pretty much wraps it up for this this week's Q&A. We'll drop Nathan Barato's links down here to just to give him extra love and shout out on here. So you can check out his catalog and you can follow his journey through his releases. And I'm pretty sure if you follow house music, tech house, even a little bit of techno, that you'll actually hear you'll actually be familiar with Nathan's music because it's been tracking many, many years. But yeah, please follow us, Artist Map, Faculty of Electronic Music. We have these weekly YouTube videos. Our courses are out. We have free courses. We have membership deals. We have package courses. If you would like one-on-one chats and stuff, Atroxx, myself, even Kevin, we're available to consult you, to coach you, to really be there if you just need a rant, and we'll give you some useful pointers and actionable advice for you to continue your journey. So thanks, guys. We'll catch you on the next one.